Hi, I'm Karen Hillen. Welcome to the My HR Partner podcast. We talk about all things HR from recruitment to ending employment. If you'd like support with your HR, check out our website www.myhrp.com.au.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the My HR Partner podcast. Today's chat is all about keeping your team intact. We've got Karen Hillen here from My HR Partner to discuss maximising employee retention for small to medium businesses. Now, Karen's insights are golden for anyone to keep their star players on the team. So welcome once again, Karen.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so why is employee retention so, well, it's critical these days for small to medium businesses, isn't it? Just with what we've been through in the employment market.
Yeah, I think especially small to medium businesses, pretty much any business, employee retention is so important because it saves you money. That's the number one thing. It's going to improve your bottom line if you can keep your employees. You're not having to spend the money to go through another recruitment process, train a new person, uniforms, protective equipment, whatever extra expenses you might have with a new employee. If you can keep your good employees, it's going to save you all of that money.
Absolutely. We've talked before just how expensive it is to put somebody new on, let alone the knowledge and experience that's leaving your business that you've got to replace.
Absolutely. And let's be honest, not many businesses are great at documenting absolutely everything. So you're always going to have people in your business that have got a lot of that corporate knowledge in their head.
Especially small to medium size. The big, massive organisations, they probably do have everything down pat and they're used to turnover, but it's so critical for small to medium businesses where you lose that person, the time, money, and that knowledge. So tell me, what are some employee retention strategies that small to medium businesses can implement?
Yeah, so they don't have to be expensive. I think some of them might sound really simple, but just be a good place to work.
Yep.
Be a good employer. And that doesn't mean offering expensive perks to keep people there. Yep. It just means having a good environment for you people to work in, having that good culture, making sure people feel valued. Yep. And that can be as simple as thanking somebody for doing a good job or giving a reward of, I don't know, it could be anything from an early mark of an hour to having a half a day off or getting a bonus day off.
Bringing them in a coffee.
Anything. Yeah, bringing in a coffee. And I think we might have spoken about this on one of the other episodes. I remember someone told me once, and this was a business owner of a business that was probably the medium to large size. He would go down and get a coffee in the morning and he'd always pick a different employee to go for a walk down to the coffee shop. They would just have a chat and for him, it was good because he'd get to know people, especially if they were new. But from the employee's point of view, they liked the fact that that's the business owner and they've actually taken the time to
They feel special.
To have a chat.
They feel valued.
Yeah, and people would know that he does that with someone different every day.
Yep.
And probably everybody gets a turn, so everyone's special. Yep. So I think that's the message that I took out of it was he cares about the people that work in his business. And he could just be sitting in his office and not knowing the name of the people, not knowing the names of the new people or even worse, people that have been there for a long time. But he made it a point to make sure that he got to know those people.
Sure. And I think the point you brought up in that is, I think one thing that's forgotten a lot is recognition.
Yep.
I think there's been so many surveys and things done where that's one of the highest rating things that employees actually want, recognition, not necessarily rewards. Everyone thinks rewards, bonuses, but recognition. And I think that goes a long way to retaining your staff.
So true. And look, let's be honest, everybody loves a pay rise. Everybody would love to get more money, but it's not usually, you're right, usually when there are surveys out there, it's not usually the number one thing that people talk about. It's not the money, it is the recognition. And it doesn't have to be an expensive, elaborate reward and recognition program. It can be as simple as saying thank you.
Absolutely.
It can be as simple as having employee of the month, or recognizing somebody in a team meeting for doing a great job. And that could just be that they're doing their job well. They may not have done anything special or out of the ordinary, but they've just been really good at their job and it gets recognized. So a simple thank you. Anything above that is fantastic as well. So it could be a couple of hours off, or it could be a voucher to the movies, or a voucher to the person's favourite restaurant. And I think personalising those sorts of things, if that's what you are going to do, can be really important as well, because then people know not only have I been rewarded, but they've actually taken the time to find out what's important
For sure,
to me.
it's genuine.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not getting it through a system.
Yes, exactly. And look, there are some great systems out there that you can use. But I think if you know it's personalised, then it's going to mean more. And for somebody who's got kids, it could be, and this might not even be a reward that's tied to something an employee's done. It could just be having a culture of it's okay to go and watch your kids for a couple of hours at their athletics carnival, or their swimming carnival, or whatever it might be. Or it could be, if you haven't got kids, it could be something different that you like to do that the business owner or the manager has recognised and said, hey, why don't you go and do that? I know you love whatever it might be. Go and do it. There's something happening in the afternoon that I know you just go do it.
Yeah.
So I think those sorts of things, they don't cost a lot of money. If it's a couple of hours off work, I think you're going to get that back in value a lot more, because people appreciate being valued and getting those little extra
Absolutely.
things.
And if you're getting those things, I guess from an employee's perspective, if there's any reason for wanting to move on from that job or leaving that, you start to think, would this happen at any new place?
Exactly. And you don't know. So we're talking about rewards, but it's all really related to retention.
Yep.
That is going to be key to retaining good staff.
Absolutely.
And there are probably some staff that you don't want to retain, and you might have to take a different path with them. But I think the thing is, when we're talking about retaining good staff, you need to value them, and they need to know that.
For sure. For sure. Let's flip this around. Let's talk about maybe reasons why employees do leave, some common reasons why people do move on. Highlight those. We can probably then work out how to avoid. Obviously, it's part of life that people do move on from jobs and so forth. But if we look at the reasons people do leave, we can maybe then work out ways to minimise that.
Absolutely. So I think there are always lots of surveys out there, and I think something that always factors at the top of the list of why people leave is their boss, a bad boss.
Yep.
And that could be the business owner, it could be a manager, but a lot of the time people just leave. They don't even try and address it, because they just think it's easier to go and find another job. So that factors very highly on a lot of surveys that you see out there.
And that delves into other episodes we've done here too, about constantly having reviews and talking with your employees to know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's the thing. People don't want to work somewhere that they don't like. And if they don't like the boss, or they don't like people they work with, why wouldn't you go and find somewhere else to work? So I think that factors pretty highly. Sometimes people will move for more money. So if you can address that and it's possible, then it's always worth considering. And again, as you say, doing reviews and having those conversations, you should know those things. So if you do have somebody who is always wanting more money, and it's something you can accommodate, and they're valuable to the business and you don't want to lose them, you might find ways of doing that.
Sure.
So that can be another reason. But or sometimes people will move, sometimes they'll get a job closer to home. Sometimes there'll be things that are totally out of your control. But I think the things that are in your control is having a good culture, having good people to work with, being a good boss, being appreciative, showing recognition. All of those things are going to help people not want to go somewhere else.
Sure. Let's work through a scenario here. So you're a business owner, small, maybe 5 to 10 employees, and that email comes through from someone you do not want to lose, and they are saying they're resigning. And there's no further information. You don't want to lose this person. What would you do in that scenario, right through to potentially a counter offer if they're going somewhere else?
Yeah, I think ask them. take them out for a coffee or have an informal conversation. What's happening? I don't want to lose you.
I really don't want to lose you.
Yeah. Talk to me. Tell me the reasons.
If you do, I can potentially do something about it. What is it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even exit surveys are a great idea, but an exit survey is probably too late as well. Exit surveys sometimes will get the reasons and you might be able to have a counter offer or talk to the person about why they're leaving. But I think talk to them. If they're in your physical location, take them for a coffee, have a chat with them in your office, whatever is practical. If you've got remote workers or you've got people that aren't in your physical location, pick up the phone and have a chat with them. Don't just fire back an email. Why are you going? Actually have the conversation. So you're getting that personal interaction where you can ask the questions. And again, like you say, tell them, I really value you in my business and I don't want you to go. Can you tell me why you're leaving? And then you might be able to counter offer if it's about money, or it might be that they're being bullied or harassed by somebody.
Which you need to address
absolutely
for a multitude of other reasons.
Yes, you need to address that anyway. But if you don't know about it, and a lot of people do, they will just leave. They won't tell you they're being bullied and harassed because a lot of the time I've had lots of people come up to me when I've done bullying and harassment presentations at various different businesses, and I've had people almost every time come up to me at the end and say, I left a job because I was being bullied. I didn't report it. It was easier for me just to leave and find another job. So sometimes you'll find those things out, which is going to be really valuable. Sometimes someone's just not happy. If there's anything you can do about changing that happiness, that's going to be great. Sometimes it's just time for somebody to move on. They might feel like that they don't have any more advancement opportunities in your business, but you might be able to find something for them.
Absolutely.
Or if you can't, then I think if you've treated them with respect, you've asked why, you've told them how much you value, you're going to have a great advocate out there about your business, because right until the very end, you've treated that person with respect and let them know how much you appreciate them.
Perfect. So I think, again, probably looking back at what we've talked about here, recognition, communication, and just really letting your staff know that they're valued in what they do, and not letting them wonder about that. And that will go a long way. Which we said, people do leave, but that will go a long way to ensuring that there is no reason to leave.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing. If you've got a great culture, it's less likely people will want to leave for a bit more money. People will weigh those things up and they might think, oh, okay, that job's out there. It might be paying $10,000 a year more, but what am I going to miss out on if I go there?
Yeah, what am I losing?
Sometimes people will pass up an opportunity for more money because they don't want to go somewhere that's unknown, and it may not be a great place to work that they've got with you now. So yeah, I think the keys for retention, great culture, matched values, and making sure people do know that you appreciate them, and do whatever you can to keep them. And it could be flexible work, it could be lots of different things, and it's quite possibly going to be different for every person.
Sure. So look, it's pretty clear, just having the right strategies can make your team a loyal and long-lasting one, and they don't have to cost a lot of money, if anything.
Yep.
Thanks again for sharing your expertise. It's just everything HR. Karen is definitely your go-to. How do people get in touch, Karen? We know just all the support that you give is invaluable to businesses. And where do they get in touch? What's your website?
Yep. Website is www.myhrp.com.au. All of my services are on there. You can book in a call. You can see all of the different services we offer.
Perfect. And I think what we're showing with this series too is that you've got a wealth of knowledge and experience and can give tips and tricks on all areas of HR that aren't necessarily packaged up in your services. If any of your clients need to know anything, you're there and able to give them what they need to know.
Yep, lots of flexible options. So yeah, always happy to help.
Fantastic. Thanks once again for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day.